Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Valentina and I'm so excited to have you here with me today. And today's video is going to be a story time. I haven't filmed one in a while. I feel like I have the worst luck with cars, or at least I did before. First, my car got stolen in Venezuela. Like, someone broke into my building and stole my car. If you want to hear that story, please comment below and like this video. Then I put diesel into my sister's Prius, which was expensive. It cost me a couple of $1,000s to fix that. Then I got a really bad used car that had a lot of trouble. But before we get started with this story time, I want to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and like this video for more story time and lifestyle content. And now let's get started. I would say a good place to start is with that car that I bought. It was a used car, a used Corolla from 2002, and I got it in 2017, right when I started studying at UCLA Extension for a year for my certificate program, and it was what I could afford. I remember it was like $3,000 for the car, so really, like, that was my budget limit, and that's what I got. And I actually had that car for a couple of years, but it just kept breaking down to a point. I remember, like, beginning of 2019, the engine check light was always on, and it didn't matter like how many times I take it to the shop or like how many times I try to fix it, it just wouldn't go off until one day they were like, okay, you actually kind of have to pay $4,000 to fix this. So I was like, I'm not gonna pay $4,000 to fix a car that cost me $3,000. Plus, I was going back to Venezuela from LA that year in a few months, so I was like, okay, I still need a car while I'm in LA, but I have to find a solution and just get rid of this car because it's really not worth it to fix this for how expensive it is and for what the car is. So a friend actually talked to me about this online service that I'm not gonna name. I'm not gonna say the name of the brand. I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but she recommends this service, but she never used it before. She just heard of it, and I was like, okay. I thought about renting a car. Obviously, renting a car for 4 or 5 months was extremely expensive, so this seemed like a really good idea. It was like a rental service, but like long-term renting. So you have to put a payment down. I think it was like $1,000 for my car. I got a Nissan Versa back then, and then you pay a monthly fee. In my case, it was $250, which again is if you break it down to only 5 months, it is really expensive. But that also covered all insurance, and I remember they wouldn't let you go outside of their company for insurance. You had to get the insurance with them, and it was a high coverage insurance, so it would cover anything that would happen to the car. And I was like, well, I mean, I wouldn't do it if I was getting my own insurance, but they kind of force you to do it because it was not your car. So I was like, okay, you know, it's fine, let's do this. I feel like one of the biggest problems is that I was in a rush to get rid of my car and to get a new one, just because of what I said about the engine check light and all this. Like, my car just was breaking down way too often, and I was just like, okay, I need to get rid of this to get through my last months in LA before I go back to Venezuela with a decent car that I don't have to stress about. So I go to this place website, and they had the car I picked at the moment, and I just went to the store and got my car. They give it to me, they give me the keys, they make me sign a contract, they make me sign paperwork, obviously it's normal, as well as the paperwork for the insurance, and the car worked perfectly. Actually, I have a little funny story, and it's like the second day driving the car, a light goes on in my car, and I was like, oh my god, I have just the worst luck in the world with cars. It was just a tire, you know, I had to put air in the tires, so it was fine. So for 4 months, my car was perfectly fine. It was great. I was like, I know I'm overpaying for this car, but it's LA. You need a car to go places here because public transportation sucks. So I was just happy, you know, with my car, and I was working at that point, so, you know, I would use my car every single day. But I was living in this apartment that turned out to be a really bad experience. If you haven't seen that video, I actually had that story time. I'll link it up here. I had a horrible landlord that keyed my car. This is the car she keyed again. All videos will be linked up here and down below because I already told the story of this crazy lady. And when I find out that my car has been keyed, you know, it has a lot of scratches on one side of the car. They're really big, they're really noticeable. So I'm like, okay, I need to fix this. And I look into my insurance paperwork and they would cover things like that. And I was like, okay, great. I'll just call, you know, this company and ask them to ask them what's the process, if I have to do it myself and then I'll get reimbursed, or like how does it work. I start calling. I remember I would call so many times, like a day and so many times a week, just trying to figure it out. And there were times where they just wouldn't pick up the phone and would send me to a voicemail. So I would leave my information, and finally I got to speak with someone. I don't remember all the details because it was almost 3 years ago. So I would try to speak with someone, and every time I spoke to someone, like, they wouldn't know what to tell me. They were like, oh, I don't know how the insurance work. I don't think I've worked with anyone that has used our insurance before. So they have no clue. And they would be like, I remember some people would try to send me to like the insurance company directly, but the insurance people would never pick up the phone. And I was like, okay, this is your responsibility because you are the ones providing the insurance service to me, so please like do something about this. At one point I remember they told me like, no, don't go fix your car because I don't know how this works, so let me, you know, create a case number for you and we'll call you back. Of course, a couple of weeks go by and no one calls me back, and I don't have a case number, I don't have anything. I keep calling over and over again. I keep sending emails. I'll leave you some screenshots here because I was looking back into my email today trying to remember what happened exactly, because again, there are some details I don't remember. Anyways, at this point I'm freaking out because I asked for like a quote for how much it would be to repair my door, and it was like around $1,000, and I was like, this is so much money. I don't have this money. It was just really stressful and really scary. It was expensive. So I'm just calling back. I remember sending them emails being like, hey, I've called so many times. No one has given me a number. I don't know. Actually, let me look back at my computer for a second because I know I had these emails here. Oh yeah, so they were offering me a claim number, which they were not providing to me. And they were like, with your claim number, you can track whatever's going on with your car, but I never received ever the claim number. So at this point, I'm just gonna read from here. I'm sorry my computer is so dirty. This case is the worst. I keep cleaning it up and it just, I don't know what's going on here. So I emailed them, dear blank team, I'm emailing you because I feel extremely upset with the service right now. On June 23rd, my car got keyed, so I proceed to call the insurance I got through the app when I rented my car. After 2 weeks calling almost every day, they keep telling me name, would reach back to me to tell me my case number so I could proceed to fix my car. This hasn't happened, and I've tried to reach out to her directly. I've left several voice messages and I still haven't heard back. On Monday, July 8th, I decided to text through the app directly and see if anyone could help me solve my problem because I'm leaving the country soon and I need to return my car before July 20th. Oh, that's it too. Like, I needed to fix the car. I couldn't like return the car all keyed because they would charge me for it. So I needed to fix the car before I returned it, which was again end of July. I first talked to blank, who said they created a claim case for the insurance team, but the insurance still didn't call me. This person also suggested to go fix my car, to call the warranty and maintenance claim line in order to get suggested a place to take my car to get repaired. He affirmed that after taking the car to repair, the insurance will reimburse me for it. I called this number and they told me they couldn't help me, so I proceeded to text someone from blank again. So as you can see, I was just emailing them every single day. I was trying to chat, like use the chat option in their website, their app, everywhere to talk to these people because it was so frustrating. At some point, someone actually gets back to me and they're like, no, the way to proceed is you take your car to the shop, you repair your car, and you give us photos, you send us photos of your receipt. I go to fix my car, I take them to the cheapest place I find, you know, like something that looks decent but it's not as expensive, and they charge me $1,100 to fix the car. And so I'm like, okay, you know, they're gonna reimburse me, so I start sending them the screenshots. I also needed to do an oil change before I returned my car, and they would reimburse you for it as well. Pay all this, I sent my receipts, I sent photos of the scratches because they needed to see that the car was actually keyed. So I sent him, like, I have all this evidence. I still have it on my computer. I have all the screenshots of every single conversation. I have every single email. I have every single photo. So I send them everything. I make a folder, you know, all good. And I asked them to pick up my car. And at this point, I just keep emailing them over and over and over again. And they are ignoring my emails. No one's responding to me. No one is, you know, asking me for my account information for a reimbursement, for my address so they can send a check back. Absolutely nothing. Until I'm like, okay, I need to return my car. I'll, you know, drive the car to where I pick it up and return it. And they're like, no, that's not how it works. Our team will pick it up from your place. And I'm like, okay. So I give them my address. They tell me they're gonna pick it up on, I think it was July 25th. And I'm like, I can't on the 25th. I can do it on the 26th on this time. And they're like, okay, the 26th. So on the 25th, someone emails me like, hey, we're gonna pick up your car right now. And I'm like, okay, your communication in between your team is awful. So I'm like, no, I told them I can't be at home on the 25th. It needs to be on the 26th. They pick up the car. That was really seamless, you know, really easy to do. They pick up the car. I give them the keys. I'm done. You know, I report in the app that I returned the car. I'm no longer, you know, I don't have the car anymore. And so they're like, okay, that of course they responded to real quick, but I keep asking them for them to like refund me for the insurance thing. They never did. They just never responded. I have so many follow-ups after they pick up my car. They disappeared until I was already, I think it was either I was already about to go back to Venezuela or I was already in Venezuela. And my sister kept receiving these letters from me from this company saying I owe them money. And I'm like, you owe me around $1,200 because I'm overpaying for this service. I'm overpaying for this insurance that it's supposed to cover it all. And you're just ignoring me. That was the most frustrating part. They were just ignoring me for weeks and weeks. And so when they sent me this letter, I'm like, okay, I'm done with you. Don't pay me back. I don't care. Whatever. Don't reimburse me. But I'm not gonna pay you $50-something for like I supposedly owe you. I'm done. I paid my last month. And so I see that they charge it to my credit card. They charge the $56 to my credit card. And so I called the bank, there's nothing I can do, blah, blah, blah. They're like, you have to cancel your service with them. And I'm like, I already did. And then they charged me once again, something like $87. And I emailed them like, this is messed up. You keep charging me for a car I don't even have since 2 months ago. And someone's like, oh, we actually do, like, we have reasons to charge you for that. I can send you a breakdown of what we're charging you for. This is the last charge we're gonna make to your credit card. And I'm like, please send me a breakdown because I already paid for the car for like the month-to-month payment, which was $250. And so, of course, they never responded after that. They never sent me a breakdown. They stopped charging me, but they just disappeared. And obviously I went to their social media. I would see every single one of their posts had comments and like had experiences like mine of customer service being horrible, owing them money, taking their money, and like them having so many issues with the app. And I wish I had screenshots of those comments. I remember DMing people and telling them my experience and being like, hey, how do you figure it out if you did? And every single one of them, like every single person that I DM'd on Instagram were like, no, they took my money. They never gave it back to me. So yeah, that was the story. I don't know if the company's still around or not, but it was really frustrating. So I guess just now I'm super careful when I'm doing things like this. Unfortunately, I do not trust, companies that don't have great reviews that many people have used before, because this was a really stressful experience. I was dealing with a lot of stress in my personal life with going back to Venezuela, having to like stop working in the US, leaving my boyfriend here, going back to a place where I really didn't want to be. On top of all that, I had to deal with this, so it was just awful. I just never got my $1,200 back, and I just, I lost that money, which is, it's a lot of money. So yeah, that's the story. I mean, now I don't care anymore, I guess, because it's been a long time, but I definitely learned my lesson to not trust, newer companies that don't have great reviews. And it's really sad because I know there are a lot of, small companies that are really trying to make a change, that are really trying to provide a great service. But I'm traumatized after that experience. Maybe I want to think they didn't want to scam me. They just had really bad customer service, and customer service didn't know how to deal with my case, and they just forgot. I want to blame it on one person and not on the company, but that was my experience, and again, it was not good. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my very sad experience, and if you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!